Because we celebrate artists that don't have primetime exposure, and because we give them primetime exposure in our magazine and to a community that really appreciates what they do, a community that is interested in emerging talent and not just SoundScan, the artists that we have profiled have really used the Next 100 as launch pads in a lot of ways. Yeah.
It's the car. Yeah, you know who we are. Come on, put your hands in the sky, reach for the stars, because it's the car. Get up and stand on your feet, wave your hands side to side when you're feeling this beat. This is the car. Yeah, you know who we are. Come on.
The reason it's still going is because people want to do it, and the moment they don't want to do it is when we'll stop. I have had a lot of conversations with recording labels that have been interested and have really been at the heart of wanting to do it. And when we get to that very point of like, well, you know that if we're going to put this on the road, you're going to have to cut back to about 15 people, and I'm just like, check, because I don't want to be the one to have to make 55 phone calls and say, hey, thanks for all the work, thanks for all those free gigs, I'll see you later, man, appreciate it. We're all going to go be rock stars now, but it's not going to happen.
They do a version of hip-hop that people don't consider, mainstream does not consider hip-hop. I mean, it's hip-hop, and it's got MCs, and it's got DJs, and it's got all the elements, and it comes from the street, and it has the pedigree of what hip-hop is, and it embodies hip-hop. And it's soulful, and it's multicultural, and all those things. But it's also not what you hear on the radio.
Yo, Double G is a beast, yo. I never met a person like Double G. And like I said, I'm from the streets. I do hip-hop, this is what I do. I never met a person like Double G. Double G, he eats and breathes music. Anything he hears, he gonna tell you the note, quarter note, the minutes, the seconds, the time.
Things are specifically orchestrated. A lot of the music is written out with actual dots and everything, but every show is different in a lot of ways, because there's that room for improvisation. If there's an MC that catches a wave that is really flowing, fan the flame as long as the MC's going, and then, okay, drop a cue, and then we're on to the next part.
Sitting and thinking you're spinning, whoa. See, I terrorize a foe with a flow. Ain't covered by no HMO. Come on.
The refrain you hear the most is that art and politics in music shouldn't mix, and yet art and politics in every other forum, even at the opera, it's the backbone of why someone would write an opera, to challenge society, right?
Where are the weapons of mass destruction? We've been looking for months and we ain't found nothing. Please, Mr. President, tell us something. We knew from the beginning that your ass was bluffing.
Hip-hop is an amalgam of all other musics, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, in the process of me making one beat, just one beat, it's like I probably listen to well, if I'm lucky, I listen to one record, and I could get all the sounds I want off of one record, and then of course morph them into something that people can't recognize, but you listen to tons of records from all different, I'm listening to polka records. I'm checking polka and folk and country western and hard rock. I'm listening to Frank Zappa, because you're looking for something. You're looking for something that moves you. So it's just I think that's why hip-hop artists are inspired by so many things, and they can probably speak about so many different genres of music because you literally have to sift through them to find your sound and find something that moves you.
Indie hip-hop is kind of a reaction to mainstream hip-hop in the sense that it's making music that doesn't necessarily follow the lyrical patterns of the day.
Anyone who's over, say, 25 years old, kind of grew up on rap music where it was kind of celebrated to have a different style. It was sort of b-boy rule number one, to not bite and be original and sort of do your thing. And so all these groups that we were influenced by and sort of just fans of when I was younger, and when a lot of us were younger, had different styles and different sounds, and it sort of turned into this thing more recently where it's not as celebrated to be different, and it's almost frowned upon to have a different style. It's almost like, well, if you're not part of this formula, then not only you're just not, there's no chance of you getting on radio or TV, and you have a little bit of a chance even being successful, you know what I mean?
I think you're known as like as being pretty complex.
Yeah, a couple of people said I'm perhaps too verbose. You know, like I should dumb it down or something, but I can't be anything but myself. I don't know, you know, it's like, I'm just gonna have to wait until the industry shifts and that whatever I'm doing becomes popular or something like that, because I don't know how to do anything but what comes from in here.
There was so much good music and so much new bands and artists that myself and the other editors were coming across, that we're like, we've got to just do a roundup of just like the emerging, like the next guys, you know, because there's just so much new stuff constantly. It was just a really exciting time for us and just for the music itself. Even if our covers were larger artists, inside it was always about artists that in other magazines and other media would typically be treated as a footnote, and in Urb as the Next 100 we always saw them as their own stories.
The turntable is the most important technology in hip-hop, still, in light of everything that's come since then. The turntable gave you the ability to say, I'm going to listen to this old record from 1952, and I'm going to find the flyest part of this record, and I'm going to turn it into something else.
Where do you come from? What gives me the most pleasure is to know I came up with something creative that I feel inside here. Because there's times that, like when you mix certain things together, you'll hear it and you'll go, oh. But then you'll do that one thing and you're like, oh, you're hearing it come out and you're feeling it. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, man, to sort of learn the difference between cultures, and it's sort of even in the stuff I was doing with hip hop and rock, it's sort of the same deal. It's like New York, I learned who the pioneers were and learned what that was all about. But in Phoenix, I learned about, you know, who were the people who played in bands like Nazareth and Deep Purple. It's complete opposites, nothing to do with one or the other, but they have everything to do with one another. Do you mix? What do you mix? What's your selection? Not like, hey, I'm here with my iPod, you know. That's a little corny to me, man. I always wanted to obtain the success that I saw and that I read about in Urb magazine with people like the Oakenfolds, because to me, those guys were reeling in all this wonderful, good. I remember when those guys would come to Phoenix, just like the hip hop guys would come to Phoenix and be like, yo, man, I'm gonna get down. And me and all the real guys would be like, those guys are whack. One day I would love to just do the head-to-head sort of battle with Oakenfold on some love, but just to be like, just to put it to rest, you know? We're gonna set that up. Do it. As a lover of music, if all I know when someone goes, hey, what do you think about this sound? Oh, it's The Clash, and that's all I know. I don't know anything about dub music or the influences that influence them. It's sort of a shame. So I think what's ending up happening is a lot of people they're digesting the surface stuff and thinking that that's all it is, you know?
The guy just ran into this club to see LCD. He had to see them so bad. He did it punk style and he just ran in. I think he actually got away with it.